All right. Apparently, it's boys' night only here on this very special eviction episode of Jury Duty. Let's get into it. Okay, I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined by my good friend John Dunphy while Gina is working. She's COVID-free and back to work. So we wish her the best. You can find us on the socials at BB Jury Duty. All right. We did it all. We're really nailing it now. We're really nailing it. Crushing it. All right. So tomorrow night is the finale.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. But not before some stuff went down, huh? This did not turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out. I have to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. No, you weren't surprised? I gasped. Okay, so wait a minute.
You mean who was brought to the final three at the end?
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let's not jump. Let's do it right. So as we remember, right, from the last time we were all gathered here together, we had Josh, who was head of household, right? Old news.
Yep.
And he puts up Kevin and Betty, to which we say, who cares? Because it all came down to the veto.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about this veto competition, okay? This down and dirty crap. First of all, where were they even crawling to? Where were they going? Was that really were they really under something, or did they go up to go down?
Yeah, I could see. I bet they just made it look like they were climbing a lot further down.
Right.
But, yeah.
Now, see, we've seen competitions like this before, at least even in BBUS, but chickens. Didn't we see something like this on? It was just on Over the Top. Well,
Over the Top, they had to find the corn stalks, the different color corn stalks.
Let's say we just watched this on Over the Top, but we just watched it because we just covered it. It's not like that just happened.
It's like 8 years ago.
Yeah. Acting like this is current events or something like that. Yeah, so we just recently saw something like this, but this was far worse.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to take me out of this one.
Yeah, you don't want to slide around and that stuff on the floor.
I don't think I physically could. I have to be honest with you. I have recorded and re-recorded my Big Brother 24 audition video, and I was sitting down today, and I said, I should just send it in. And then I watched this competition. I said, you know what? No, just forget it. It's not my year yet. It's not my year. We're gonna have to hit the gym a little harder. We made great strides, but I don't know that we did enough. Could you do this? Did you hear how Kevin was panting?
Well, I think he was also had blood on him at the end. Did you notice that on his arm?
I did notice that. That. Yikes.
And even Haleena being I've been slamming my head around in this thing. Yeah, she was having a rough go too.
Yeah, it was really bad. So all this to say, Josh wins.
Yes. Which I think this is the first time, right? I mean, I think it has to. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be because the HOH has been playing the veto the last week or so, right? So is this the first time this season that the HOH actually did have all the power?
I guess so. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I suppose so.
So I think Josh is really is coming on strong here at the end. He's had some big wins.
Yeah, he's really been quite the force, hasn't he? Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Which is going to make this final three a little bit more interesting. Well, hang on. We're almost there. So so Josh has his conversation with Betty, and so on and so forth. And so he selects Betty to be the person now to come off the block to make the final decision on who shall stay and who shall leave. Obviously leaving Kevin and Haleena as the final nominees on the block. Betty casts the final vote to evict. And see, now, all right, so Haleena's gone. That's not what I expected, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I really thought Kevin, and maybe it's because the way that this edit was, we didn't see a lot of Haleena, so it didn't look like she was like the mastermind behind Kevin and Haleena. At least not to me.
Yeah.
It was very much presented to me like Kevin was, and now, so that's why I would have thought that Kevin was the bigger threat.
Right. Right.
Where do you land on this?
See, it's very interesting because I do agree with you that like if you asked me before this episode who I thought okay, hypothetically, let's just say Betty and Josh have the power, or one of them has the power, whatever, right? What are they going to do? I would have said that I think they'll send Kevin out. That would have been my guess.
Yeah.
And then so it was a little surprising to me. I kind of like, I guess I understood like the reasoning, like like Helena's won more comps and this and that. But even from the jury footage we saw, I don't think that the jury thinks much of Haleena.
No, I don't think they do.
Yeah, like they were all sitting around that table in the jury house. And I forget who said it, but somebody was saying like, oh yeah, like Haleena, I think she's just been kind of like latching on to Kevin, and she's really just been kind of following his lead. So they clearly think that Kevin is the one that's been pulling the strings, at least in that. They might not know like to what extent Kevin has been like pulling big moves and stuff, but at least in that duo, they know that Kevin was the one that was like the mastermind, really.
Well, that's the thing. Like, as we think about it a little bit further here, like I'm not so sure that it was just the edit that made it seem that way. Like I remember even us having many conversations around like Kevin always being one of those people that were in the HOH room immediately, like influencing a lot of decisions. Like I don't remember Haleena like ever being featured that way.
Right.
Because I just don't think she was having those conversations. Like, why wouldn't they if she was?
Right. And I feel like, it's so interesting because Kevin has had he's had the ear of everybody at some point, right? Like he was way big time in Marty's ear earlier on. Like him and Summer had a good relationship. Like him and Betty were on the rocks in the beginning. And then all of a sudden Betty like loved him and then went back to hating him and things like at some point though, like Kevin has really been in a positive way for a lot of people, and for a few of them in a negative way. He's really made an impact on I feel like everybody's game in that house.
Yeah.
Even with his one win, which is a huge strike against him. He's only won one comp, but like he's had such a big impact on this game. I can't believe they didn't get rid of him.
I can't believe that's what I'm saying. I was a little surprised that it was Haleena that was the decision.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, the more I definitely side with you as I'm processing it. Like, yeah,
it almost looked like Haleena knew, because even if you look at the way she was dressed versus the way that Kevin was dressed, it's almost like they had already had some kind of a conversation. Like there was some kind of like understanding that it was Haleena. Now they said this was live. Do you think this one was live? This one didn't feel live.
I don't know. I don't know what to trust anymore. I know the only thing that I've actually seen that like suggests it's not live is like from stuff that I'm reading online. So who the hell knows?
Right. Well, we know tomorrow's live.
I hope so.
Don't be like that. We do have a screenshot of what Arissa had on this evening.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We do.
Better quality than my crappy photo.
No, actually, mine is probably worse. I don't know what this face is. No, the face is terrible. I was like, let me just see what happens if I hit print screen. So we had this little yellow number on tonight. This yellow pantsuit. Listen, it's a hot for me.
Oh, it was a hot for me too. I love this
thing.
Thank
goodness. Yeah. Arissa's back. Thank goodness.
I didn't really get to see the shoes, but this outfit I thought was great.
See, I did see the shoes, and I was scrambling to find the print screen button. I still don't know where it is. Oh yeah, it's over there someplace. Yeah, shoot. And by the time I realized I had hit it, it's already over. And then you didn't get a lot of full body shots after that. They're always panning in, always moving around. Like, no, we just need we need more shots like that for these things. Yeah. Note for next season. So the final three is Josh, Betty, and Kevin. Now, I don't know. I don't know who deserves to win more than the other. I don't even know where to begin with predicting tomorrow or any thoughts. Oh wait, we got a vote. Canada's vote.
Yes, we do get
Canada's
Canada's
jury
vote.
vote, plus Americans with VPNs. I have I have already cast 2 votes for Betty.
Business B, making that money.
Business B. I'm still not totally sure she's about that business, but we still stand. Who would you vote for, or who will you vote for? I know you're gonna vote.
You know, so like I was kind of saying before, if you asked me this question like a week ago, but somehow like we're to say like, all right, the final 3 is Betty, Josh, and Kevin, but like I hadn't seen this current week that we're in, I would have a much harder time deciding. But I'm starting to feel like Josh is the most deserving of this.
Josh is the
Of this
most
win.
deserving. Okay, all right.
I think that he's got,
On what
I mean,
grounds?
and I think a lot of it is him now coming in and winning a lot of stuff here. He had such a big impact in that triple. He's won another HOH. He's won a veto. I feel like he won at least. Did he win something else before that, or is that now he's up to 3 wins? Is that it? But I just feel like he's winning these things at a big time, and he's making. He was the one that was the HOH for that last eviction in the triple. He was the one that was HOH during the final 4, and used the veto to set up the final 3. I just feel like he's really, that's the problem though, is that
So let me ask the question then. Let me ask you a question. Just based on what you said here. Does that mean that you are prioritizing comp wins in the end game over comp wins in the beginning? Because one of the things that always comes up is like people who play this floater game, then all of a sudden just turn it up, and now do they deserve a win? What you just said was basically that kind of a game.
Yeah.
Which is fine. If that's the side of the fence you want to be on, it's fine.
Well,
I'm just curious because yes,
think
it's more impactful, but does that mean that his wins count more? It just happens to be when he won,
right?
And one can also then make the argument that maybe you won now because there's just less people to play against because you already got rid of the good people.
Right. Absolutely. And I guess I guess part of it, in my mind anyway, the way I'm thinking right now is that if you've played a good enough game to get to this point where now you are competing against less people and now you're able to kind of control the power at the end of the game, that says something about the game that you've played, I guess. But like if somebody like a Gino, right, who had a couple of HOH wins, or Marty, who had a couple of HOH wins, was still in the game, I might think differently about it because, Gino, his win, obviously, once he got eliminated, he can't win anymore. But like the wins that he had, if he had stayed in the game, Gino, and the only HOH wins he had were the ones that he had already collected, and now like Josh was still winning these at the same time, I'd feel like this is really impressive by Josh. But the problem is Kevin has barely won anything. Betty's won. Well, she won what? 1 HOH, right, and 1 veto.
She won a veto.
1 veto. So I feel like I can't remember, honestly. For some reason, I want to say
she has. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't remember. She definitely won that coffin veto.
Yeah.
And she won HOH.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something else.
It's possible, but
it's also possible we're totally wrong.
Yeah.
Well, what do we know? But okay, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. See, the thing is, I right now I'm high on Josh. I feel like he's been performing very well, and like he has the benefit of it being later in the game, so it's what's fresh in our minds. But he may have a big hill to climb with jury management. I mean, like with the jury. I don't know. that might be what kills him.
Yeah, he might. Listen, I'm still pulling for Betty. Even just in general, I think that at this point, it's just there's really something to be said for a person who is always on the block, basically as a pawn, and never actually does go home. Usually that expires, like at some point. They get, 3, maybe 4 good turns, and then it's like, okay, you're no longer a pawn, just get the hell out of here. That didn't happen for Betty. And one could also argue that, she ramped up her comp wins at the end. If we're going to say that, those now matter at the end. She really, but she also put up a big fight with Marty and that Mount Everest thing. That is not Mount Everest. They just don't know what it's called.
Well, okay, just to go
Yeah.
back to the wins at the end of the game too. I feel like,
You don't like that I
and
keep
it's not.
bringing.
No, no, no. Well, I think here's something that I have in mind too. And I'm not even saying necessarily that like these wins should count more than early wins, but I think that in a final two speech, you know, um, being able to say things like, I won the HOH, the last HOH during the triple. I had to put 3 people
Yeah.
up and blah, blah, blah. And then I won the HOH to go into the final 4. I guaranteed my spot in final 3. And this, you know what I mean? I feel like because you can say those things rather than being like, oh yeah, in week 3, I won HOH and I put these 2 people up and there were still 12 people in the house. And you know what I mean?
No, and I can agree with that. And I can also agree with that. There is something to be said for I had comp wins and I had power at a time where it was more impactful to the sway of the game. There's
Right.
something to be said for that too. Sure. I was just playing devil's advocate, just having a good time.
No, absolutely.
You know, but but I think if I was on the actual jury, I think I would challenge back and say, yes, you were winning comp wins at the end. Yes, you did have more power in that sense, but wouldn't it be said that maybe it was a bigger bit of glory here for the person to win playing against 11 people than.
Although, so what do you think about this idea? So like, because we know, I mean, we saw it from people like Summer, right? I think Kevin even said it, like, what if 16 people are in the house in the beginning, or 15, 14, but 4 of them are throwing the comp? You know what I mean? You get those people that are like, honestly, it's not really beneficial for my game to even win this, so I'm just going to let this person have it. You know what I mean? Like, what if it comes down to 2 people that are in an HOH and there's one of them, it's like, I don't even want this, and essentially just hands it to that person? Is that, you know what I mean? Like, technically you competed against more people, but like,
If you did compete against more people, but I don't know. I mean, even if there were 4 people, there were still at least 5 others that were not just throwing.
sure, yeah.
Which then you can still say then they were up against the same odds as these people at, once it gets to the pointy end.
Yeah.
The Australians say that in their game.
The pointy end.
Yeah. The Australians say that. We like it when the game gets to the pointy end, and because that's where we are.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really, really good. All right. So you think no hope for Kevin?
I don't
think
mean,
so.
well, actually,
I don't think people like him enough.
I don't think so, unless I don't. Yeah, you know what? I don't think so. I was gonna say that there could be hope for him if he's sitting next to Josh, but I feel like I could point to Moose that hates Josh. I could point to Summer that hates Josh, but then I could point to JC Lynn who hates Kevin and thinks he's a snake, and she's probably going to be able to get Gina's vote. I'm sure there's at least a couple other people that don't like Kevin, so it might be an interesting vote, honestly, to see that play out, Josh versus Kevin. But if they're both like disliked by the jury, I could see Josh then taking the win because, well, we don't like either of these people, but Josh has won more and Josh has,
right,
this and that.
Right.
So
you say that you believe that Josh has the best chance to win. Who do you think now, if Josh is in that position now to have that final HOH, who does he bring? Do you think he sticks with Betty or does he go Kevin? Like, what do you think he'll choose? I'd like to believe he's going to go Betty.
I'd like to believe he's going to go Betty too. I wonder if just how the HOH comp plays out would affect his decision. Like whoever wins that other part of the HOH comp, right? If he wins, let's say the first part, and then whoever wins the second part out of Betty or Kevin, and then if Josh was to win that final part of the HOH and take it, he might just pick whoever didn't win the part he didn't compete in or something, because
okay, all right.
I
think Betty brings Josh.
Oh, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, I don't. Now, who does Kevin bring? I almost think Kevin brings Betty.
I think that too. Betty might be in the best.
Yeah, I think Betty might be good. Yeah, I think she might be because I don't see Kevin bringing Josh because I also see him, even if for no other reason than the fact that his pride is a little like banged up by the fact that Josh got him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he would do it.
Yeah. I actually I tweeted tonight. I was like, because I feel like Kevin has just been so off. You could tell Josh really rattled him. Him getting
Yeah.
played by Josh like that, it really, really rattled him. He can't do anything right. There was like that brief moment in this episode tonight where I thought that he might be getting like a little bit of his mojo back, trying to convince Josh like that Betty might be like the hardest person for him to beat. So like even if that's the number one, you might as well go with the crash test dummies and take me and Haleena because
Mm-hmm.
neither of us can beat you, but Betty can beat you. And like for a second there, I kind of what did you think of that whole segment? Did you think that Josh was buying it at all? Like I wasn't sure, but I was like,
I listen.
it's-
There was a split second that it looked like Josh was like really thinking about it and considering it.
yeah,
But I also don't know if that's just how he plays the game, like very, very well, like to make it look
right.
like he's really engaged in the conversation and like he's not.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, because we unfortunately we didn't get the benefit of seeing a lot of his social gameplay. We just knew
Mm,
that he meant a lot to people. I don't know that we saw him a lot in those conversations to really know what his face does. you know,
right.
um, it's hard. It was hard to say, but it looked like he was listening.
Right. That's what I looked. He really genuinely looked like he was listening and interested, and maybe even thinking like, "Huh, maybe it would be tough to beat Betty because she's been kicking ass lately."
Yes,
Betty, like,
it will be tough to beat Betty, but because of the way, because of the final four, now final three that we have, I think everybody's going to be kind of tough because everybody kind of had an equal game here, like at this
mm,
stage now. Um, a few weeks ago, not even a few weeks, a few eviction cycles ago, I would have said that Kevin really was a front runner here. Um, but like Gina had said, it's very hard to prove a game where you are manipulating people. It's very hard to prove that these were your moves when you spent the entire time convincing others that it was not your
right,
move. Um,
right,
See, we just know that. So I don't
right.
know. I don't know. Now I'm
Although
almost
I
I'm almost
wonder,
backtracking now, but
well, it could be a benefit then to Kevin that Haleena did go to the jury house. I mean, she might only get one night there or whatever it is, but maybe that's if the whole jury's talking it over right now, like, oh, who are we gonna pick out of these last few? And then Haleena shows up and
she's
starts to
going to
kind of
get to be
talk
able to
about like,
explain some of their
right,
gameplay.
like, yeah, we were in this group called the Ghosts and we were doing this and we did that, and then maybe people will start to put it together, and
Mhm.
maybe then you can sort of prove these things, like, oh,
That's a
crap,
very interesting point. That's very
yeah,
good. That could actually be good for him.
yeah. Um, Oh,
Hmm.
man. I mean, does Betty really have any like enemies? And like I know Josh, I can easily think of people in that jury house that dislike Josh. I can very easily think of people that dislike Kevin. Is there anybody that like you don't think would ever vote for Betty under any circumstance? I don't think I can think of one.
I don't know. I guess the only one that I could see like not really being too keen on Betty is Marty. um
That's true.
Yeah, but like I don't know. He also was saying like some things during that jury segment about really putting aside your personal issues and being like, listen,
Mm.
like they're playing a good game. They're all playing a good game. So then maybe not, like that was very encouraging to me. like,
Yeah,
like to
it's
hear
so
him
funny.
talking like that. I could also
Like,
see JC Lynn being like just like a little miffed,
mm, mm,
because like Betty was her last chance.
yeah,
And depending still on how this shakes out, I don't know. Like JC Lynn still was not such a terrible option at that stage. I still say, um, I don't think she was terrible to play the game with. At that, I mean,
yeah.
it's worked out for Betty. She's in final three. It doesn't really matter. But like, just going back, like, there's also no reason why you couldn't have gotten there with JC Lynn as well. I guess is my point.
Right, right.
So, but I mean, I guess if you're Betty, you might as well just keep playing the game who you're playing with anyway. Why switch? Except for the fact that he burned you. Except for
Right,
that,
right.
he kind of said, you're not really worth it to me. But he has redeemed himself. He has.
And
So,
I am glad. I'm glad that things turned out this way. I just feel like, and this might be like a cheesy part of this whole thing, but like even because I was excited about this final four, I felt like we had clear sides. but you really didn't know what the hell was going to happen still. It wasn't like there was one side that was just a clear dominant force over the other side. You had these two pretty even sides that got to compete. And then you had this, like, you got to have this moment in the edit tonight that I'm sure production put in there, that where, Betty and Josh have their moment where they're talking about how important they are to each other. And then for Kevin and Haleena, like they know that one of them's going, and that this is a big moment for them, and like two people that never expected to get close, to each other. And the way that this
made
all
me cry.
out,
actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that Kevin and Haleena thing, that had me choked up. Like, they're cute.
Yeah.
They're cute.
Oh yeah,
I like them.
Yeah.
I like them. Yeah,
I totally agree. I thought this was just a great Final Four. I really did.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted it tonight. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be making statements like this because there's a lot of seasons of Big Brother out there. But I was like, this might be. I
saw you make a very grand statement on.
Yeah,
yeah, I saw that.
Because isn't it true? Like, it feels like. Can you think of a single season where like there's not at least one person when you get down to the end that you're like, I just don't want this person to win. There wasn't
a person. When you get down to Final Four, you're talking
Final Four, Final Three.
I have to go back now. And at this point, we're just going off in tangents now. Like we already know we are. We're already kind of off. I'm gonna look because there might be the Big Brother fandom. It takes too much. See, because there was some years of BBUS that were really terrible. So like you really might be right, to be honest. With you, because I will say, like those years that Gina considers highly revered are not. And that, I don't want to be talking shit about my girl, but she'd be talking about like BB 17, BB 18. It's like missed me with those. Like, I watched them. It is what helped get me into it, because I was backtracking and everything. But like, let's not act like that's real Big Brother at all. That little patch of time was like, really, you're fucking off, wasn't it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
no, it was. It was kind of weird.
I mean, BB23 was a good Final Four, but I remember even at that point having like very clear preferences over who I wanted to win in that Final Four.
Well, see, that's the thing, because Kylan's was part of that. So you can't say that was like a favorite Final Four,
That's what I mean. Like the BB23 Final Four would probably rank up there pretty highly for me. But even in that one, I was like, I don't want this person to win. Whereas as soon as we got this Final Four in BB Can Season 10, I was like, I'm totally cool with any of these people winning. I think they're all great.
Right. Okay. Well, we already know that 22 is not going to give us I mean, I do like Enzo, though. I like Enzo.
Yeah.
Always like Enzo. I really wish there was an easier way to just go back and like just see like a damn list of like who was where, because they make it very difficult.
Yeah,
but I just want a list, a list of seasons.
Can you please just have a list of all of the Big Brother Final Fours in history,
or even just if you just give me a couple, like I can basically tell you if I liked it or not. I could tell you. You know what else I'm nervous about? Can we also talk about this BB Can finale now? How many winners are they going to be parading in front of us? If they spoil, I don't know what to do about this finale. As stoked as I am, I feel like we are just going to get ruined. And I understand that we are watching this illegally. But, I have a new argument based on this, okay? Yes, we're Americans watching this and we're not supposed to be. But what about the people in Canada that are actually brand new to the show? Started and said, ooh, this is BB Can 10. Let me get in now, ground floor. With a nice fresh start, with a nice even number. And they get every season spoiled. Like, what is the incentive to go back? Like, what is it?
Like, if you want to throw a couple winners in there,
fine. I expect it. But what can I say? I'm coming in a 10th season.
Here's the thing. I also feel like you don't have to say winner. You could say, like, Big BB Legend, or you know,
right.
just you could just say Big Brother and season whatever. You don't have to say that this person is the winner. Like,
I agree with that too. You don't have to do that to us. Going too far. It's like no, it's like you don't want us to go back. You don't want us to have
right.
any reason to go back. You're like, don't do that.
I'm trying to watch more of your show. Stop ruining it for me.
Yes, like I want to watch this. All right, so BB21. Who is this now? Who is in 21?
BB21 was.
Oh, yeah,
that
was a tough final. That was Jackson. That was Mickey
Oh,
and Holly.
Yeah.
Nicole Anthony, though, that's Bay.
Well, Nicole
Love
Anthony,
her. Love
she
her.
elevates that Final Four. But
Yes, she
there was
does. Oh, okay, all right. I got a little list here. It's top threes. It's top three. So let's cut it down. Instead of top fours, we'll do top threes. It's easier.
Okay.
Because I have a list for it. I have a list.
I gotta say that if we're talking about top threes and we just mentioned BB21, I'd say that might be the saddest Final Three I've ever seen, because like it was just so. Like, that was just like, I can't even imagine what Nicole must have been feeling like in that house in those last couple of days.
I gotta tell you, the worst. All right, hold on now, because I don't know that you watched some of these other seasons. Did you watch BB13?
Yes,
you did with Hayden.
Yes,
that final three sucked.
Yeah, not a good one.
Okay, that was terrible. Oh, by the way, I don't have a list of final threes. I have a list of final twos. And that third name is America's Favorite House Guest. And I now realize this because I look at BB13 and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Brittany definitely did not go to final three, because I will never forget that gut-wrenching episode when those boys told her that she was out because she thought she was booed up at Lane and she thought she was getting in. Yeah. Now, who did they take? Because it was Lane, Hayden, and who? Wow, that's terrible. Very forgettable, whoever you were. Hope you're not watching. I'm sure you're not. Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. Hope you're not watching. Bottom line is, oh, you know what? Hold on. So for some of my shit talking, by the way, season 20. Okay. Season 20. That was a good one. That was good. That was with Casey and Tyler. I like that season. Although, wasn't there something problematic that happened that season too? Wasn't there something? No, oh, you know what? That was that crazy girl. Remember that girl, Sam, who was the robot in the beginning? She was in that season, wasn't she? No, first of all, that twist was not nice. That was a mean twist.
It was mean.
I thought it was mean. Especially that early in the game. Like,
what was it? How long was it again?
It was a week.
It was a full week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And very early in the game.
Time. Yeah, nobody cares that your robot can't make it out of the room.
Right.
But you know,
it's like you can't compete in comps that week. You can't do any social gameplay that week.
No social gameplay at all. Nobody wants to talk to a robot. And even if they would want to talk game with you, it's obvious they're talking game. So like, there's no whispering.
Like, you think about how terrible it is if you're like sitting there controlling your little robot, like being like, all right, I'm going to make the best of this because I'm still on Big Brother. Like, I don't want to be a robot, but like, I'm still on the show at least. And then like the whole cast is like, we're going up to the HOH room.
Yeah, bye. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's really mean. It's really, really mean. Yeah. No, but okay, so we say all this to say, I guess I really do like this Final Four. But I have to say though, I watched seasons 1 and 2 of BB Can, and I felt similarly. There was nobody I was like actively rooting against.
Yeah.
And I just think that maybe I just like Canadians better. The way they play the game better. It's just nice.
I honestly think that there's just so many ways that Canada in general just does this show better. Like it's And I agree with you because like I watched season 1 of BB Can. I don't remember like really rooting against anyone when it got down to the end. But yeah, I just BB Can they're great at producing this show.
The only thing I would change now it was a very exciting thing to watch, and it was exciting now, but in hindsight, I think I'd like to do away with the triple.
Yeah.
Or let it be sooner. Going from 8 to 5 is really that is accelerating the game. Like, like that really is that's wild. That's too
there's
much.
something like I almost wouldn't mind if they did a triple early on. Like let's say it gets us from 12 down to 9 or something, right? And then a couple weeks after that, they do a double or something.
Yeah.
Well,
I even like now. I will say that I did like BB23's double.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I agree.
I like that. Now, if you want to do it like that to just move it forward, fine. Because what did that do? That brought us from that. I think in that one, it brought us from 8 to 6 and then 6 to 4, didn't it? I think I like that better.
I believe. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because it gave the cookout a moment to like have their moment, to have their moment. But yeah,
what would you think about? I don't know. Maybe this isn't. Maybe this isn't a big deal at all. But I feel like we're always used to like we get to jury, right, and then one person leaves, and then they have like they have the jury house to themselves for a week. Like, what would you think about like trying to plan one of these doubles or even a triple around like when we get to jury? So at the first time that someone's going to jury house, it's 2 people or 3 people. So right away you have people sort of like playing and comparing notes in the jury house rather than just having like one person just sitting around for a week and then like, all right, somebody comes in and now they can start talking like, oh, what's going on in there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, could that be interesting to have?
I think it'd be interesting to watch, but I don't know. I think I would really want to root for that person's right to have a week alone. Their first jury boot. I think that comes with that perk. You're taking a big L going out at that stage. I think the W that you get is a week of solitude. Unless it would drive that person nuts. Like, you don't know how that person feels, if it's good for them.
True. Yeah. I mean, you might get out of that house and be like, man, I wish I could just like hang out with someone and not be playing a game. Like I want to kind of just sit here, have a drink with somebody, talk about other stuff, who knows? And at least you'd still be in this big house. It would just be like 2 people. You wouldn't have to share one bathroom. You're in basically like a mansion, like,
right.
But I think it would be interesting to see like sort of a couple people go into the house together and just immediately start like talking about like, all right, who were you working with? Who were you working with? Let's figure out what's going on in there, like, but I don't know, maybe it wouldn't.
I guess I have a much better suggestion than all of this.
Okay, all right, give it to me.
This is the suggestion to end all suggestions, and like this one is about to get me on the Big Brother production team. Okay, I'll be the next game maker. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
When we get to jury, this is first jury boot. That's when we do a triple. 3 out. Swoop, right? But after the next eviction, that gives us our 4th person, then we immediately go into a battle back. We're bringing back the battle back. And then it doesn't feel as accelerated because we're putting somebody back in. And now it gets real wonky.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah. I hear the cheers. I hear the people applauding. I'll be checking my email for my job offers.
I like that a lot. We all love we love a battle back, and at some point we're going to be getting it again.
We have to, please.
And I think the only reason we haven't is because of COVID, right?
That's why I'm saying when you get the jury, because these people have already been together,
right?
So you get the excitement of the triple, but you're not losing like weeks of time.
Right.
Good
right.
stuff.
Right. And it is cool because let's say you do that battle back right after the triple. Did you say like right after the triple pretty much? So like those first 4 people in, because you get one person in there, then the triple.
And no, you get your triple. So 3 immediately. That's building off your thing. You want people in there? Get 3.
Oh
Bang.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then you get one more person. And then when they leave, that's how they used to do those battle acts. Remember that? They're like, oh, just kidding. Keep
Right,
your
right,
shorts
right.
on. Keep your shorts on. And it's like, yeah, because you're going right into the battle back because somebody's going right back in. Now that's
Right.
fun. Yeah.
That
One
is fun.
whirlwind of a night.
I love the
Yeah.
battle. I wish and
I
like I hope
love battle
that
backs.
yeah. I hope that once things like COVID restrictions are lifted from these shows, I just want it to be a fixture, whether it's a pre-jury battle back or a jury battle back. I just want there to be some sort of battle back like every season.
I gotta
And
be honest with you. It's almost now taking a page out of the challenge, but like, why can't we get both? Why not?
yeah,
Why can't we? You took away our have not competitions, right? So like,
yeah,
at least give us this. Why can't we have a pre-jury battle back, a la the Redemption House, like in the
yeah.
challenge, and then we get a jury battle back? That's very exciting.
Oh
And
yeah.
I will be quiet about the have not competitions. I will stop it. All right. I will totally knock it off if you give me that. All right.
Right, right.
However, I will still keep banging the drum for the nomination wheel. Okay. I still want that back. Silly.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
fun. It is
Yeah.
fun.
It is fun.
I can't lie. I oh man.
Oh, wait.
I'm dying for a battle back.
I'm dying for a battle back. But can we also talk about the janky ass nomination thing that BB Can did this season? Now, this was not good. Okay. Because we never addressed any of this. I don't like to just stand up and declare. Like, there's no pomp and circumstance whatsoever. We don't think that's weird.
I almost wish, you know what? I don't know. Maybe tell me if you think this would be all right. Because I kind of like how they do the veto selections, right? Like spinning the wheel. How do you feel about that?
Okay. No, wait, hold on. Wait, we need to write all this down because you're jumping onto something else and you didn't address my thing. Okay.
No. Well,
Because I
so I'm
want to
gonna
talk
tie.
about the wheel. I want to talk about the wheel, but I'm
I'm
scared
gonna
we're going to
tie
get
it
lost.
into. I'm gonna
Okay.
tie
All
it
right.
into
I don't like the
nominations.
wheel. I don't like the wheel.
Okay.
I like the theme of the wheel. It was never clear to me what happens if we landed on a blank space.
I think
Like,
they just respin from something I was reading online, but I don't know that for
see,
sure.
I would have rathered a completely digital screen. Um, and then maybe the pointer moves around it so you don't believe that there's any kind of hanky pankies. you know but then like just double up on people's names or something. The blanks, that it really
Yeah.
irritated like the OCD in me. I didn't like that.
So I was gonna ask you with that
Mhm.
wheel, what if they had tried to use it in some way where the HOH puts in who they're going to nominate right before the ceremony, and then they can like sort of control the wheel where it starts to spin. Maybe the HOH pushes it or whatever, but like it's an automated thing where like it lands on the two nominees. Like like the first person I've nominated is the wheel starts to
Oh, so it's
spin.
really just like a gimmick.
Right. Like the first person I've
Oh, that's
nominated is,
fun.
and then
That's fun. If you
the
get some
wheel just
fun
starts
cheesy
spinning.
circus
Yeah,
music.
like it just starts spinning, and everybody's sitting there like looking at the table spinning, like being like, I hope it doesn't land on me. Did he pick me? Like,
Hmm. Yeah,
like
that sounds like a direct interpolation of BBOTT's America's Nominee thing. That's what that sounds
mm,
like to me. When remember
yeah,
it was flipping through the photos and
that's
it would
right.
stop and you're like, and then it's like, oh, and it would start flipping again.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what that reminds me of. Like, that's very fun. Builds drama.
yeah,
We like it. Especially if you add some classic like Big Brother cheesy carnival music. Do,
yeah.
do, 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 donk. Like, that's really good. It's really fun. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But no, I really hated the just stand up and just say, all right, I'm putting you up. Like, what happened to the key cards in the thing? Like, when did that
Yeah.
go away? Our Canadian friends, please tell us what happened. What happened? How did we get reduced to this? And how long has this been? Is this new? Let's not keep it. Um, Still lobbying to be game maker, head game maker.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe they
BBUS 24, BB Can 11.
maybe they maybe they were just so busy putting so many freaking doors in this house. And they got to premiere night. We're like, crap, we forgot to build the wheel.
And so many of which still unaddressed. I mean, we never did do the secret find extra money because you survived the block thing. Oh, did you? You know what else I heard? Can we get into BB international rumors?
Sure.
um, BB UK is apparently renewed.
I saw something about this somewhere.
Yes, this is
Couldn't
apparently
tell
a
you where.
very big deal. This is a very big deal. They're very excited. And I think if it lines up, we should watch. We've got the VPN. I don't see
I'm
why we
down.
can't jump in.
I'm very
Like,
down.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got to see if any of our fans out there can also give us like some information. Tell us things about this. How can we watch? How can we all hang out together? We want to hang out more. You know? So come on, friends. Tell us where we can get this stuff.
Right?
Thank you.
Tell us.
There's our announcement. There's our announcement. Find us on the socials at BB Jury Judy. Tell us. We want to watch more things. I also want to see now. We have a lot of things to check out. Okay. Because remember, Big Brother Nigeria was a pretty big deal last summer.
That's right.
And there's something different about some of these other international ones. Okay. There's a person in there that is Big Brother or something, and there's some kind of hanky panky. Yeah, I don't know. And it's like, oh, who is Big Brother? I'm like, what do you mean? Who is Big Brother? Yeah, I don't know. We have to look into these things.
I'm very interested in checking out some of these other versions. I remember you even saying what Nigeria, right? They don't actually ever have an HOH and stuff like that, right? Is that? Did you tell me that?
Oh, I said that about Big Brother Australia.
Australia. Okay, that's what
they just have it's interesting. The first half of the episode is like a random challenge, like a team challenge, usually centered around getting money to buy food because they ration them in this one. So it's usually something where they all have to like work together. Which
reminds me of like the old school early Big Brother challenges where like it wasn't competing for power or anything like that, or a veto or anything. Like they were literally competing for food.
I remember hearing about that. Otherwise, they eat like peanut butter and jelly or something like that. They
would have competitions where it would be like, grab as much stuff as you can in this time limit, and if it's in your bucket at the end of the competition, like the whole house gets to eat it, and the people would be grabbing like, oh, grab the steak, grab the fruits, grab the vegetables, blah blah blah, like, and if they didn't complete it in time, it was like the whole house now has to eat peanut butter and jelly for the week.
That's fun, but I gotta say, I think even just listening to that, Australia does it better. There's you don't ever see what their actual rations are, but you're playing for money, okay? And it's always something like personalized that you can kind of get annoyed with people if they don't do it right. So like there's a big digital screen that will like show things like challenges, like things like this, how they want to communicate to the house guests. And so now there's this big contraption set up outside with this ball that's going to roll down this mousetrap looking thing. You remember Mousetrap?
Yeah.
It rolls down the whole thing, and then you have to catch the ball. All right. If your name comes up, no matter where you are in the house, you have to run and catch the ball. If you catch the ball, it's like $10 for the house towards the groceries for the week. So needless to say, people are missing it. People get really fucking pissed off. Like it gets really crazy. So then whatever money they finally earn, this is why I think it gets better. Now you have two people who are assigned the task of shopping. They have to now decide how the money is spent. And so now, of course, you've got people like, I want tea. I want this. I want that. And it's like, so now, the shoppers are like, oh gosh, how can we we have to make sure we keep everybody happy, or else I could end up being nominated. You know what I mean? Right. It's so interesting. So then you do whatever you're doing, and then they play their little competition, which is not a little competition. Like they're playing like some Survivor style shit. Like they're playing some tough stuff in there. Okay. They win. They immediately go to the diary room. There's no chatting, nothing. They go straight to the diary room and they make their nominees for three people go on the block. And then they all sit down in the living room and Big Brother announces who has been nominated. That's it. Off you go. We're voting tonight. Like it's bang, bang, bang. Like, so there's no head of household room. There's none of this. All this. They want to see my HH room. Ding, 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 ding. Nope, none of that.
You mean they don't get free Wendy's and
No, there is
and,
no
and an
Veto.
outfit from Winners.
Yep, there's no Veto. Oh yeah, look, check out my Winners fit. Nope, nope, on the block. No Veto. You cannot get off. Once you're on, that is it. But they do allow
That's
the people on the block to vote.
terrifying.
Yeah, but they can vote at least. They do have a vote. They do have a vote. But then eventually, once there's as many, like once the number of house guests dwindle, once they get down to 2 people on the block, no more voting, obviously. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Man, that really is interesting. Having 3 people on the block and they can all still vote. Because if you get 2 people on there that are on the same side,
yeah,
that's 2 votes right there against you. For that,
it has to go that way.
Yeah.
But does it? Dun, dun!
Right? You could have somebody stabbing someone in the back.
So stupid. But yeah, that's exactly. It gets interesting. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Big Brother Australia. Yeah.
At some point, I'll watch every season of Big Brother.
That's on. It's on Paramount Plus. That I think it's Big Brother Australia 12. What is also interesting is this was taking place during the summer of 2020, and a crew member was exposed to somebody with COVID. So now you watch them in the house deal with that scare. That's an interesting thing to watch when you get to that. I remember seeing headlines about that, but I didn't really understand what was going on.
Right. Wow.
Because I couldn't even understand why they were even playing, because I didn't grasp that what was happening in America wasn't happening everywhere else. I just thought it was happening to everybody at the exact same time. It never dawned on me that Australia was totally fine for some time.
I mean, Australia,
yeah,
in particular, I think handled the pandemic much better than we did.
Right, and I didn't know this. You were so wrapped up in, because at that time I didn't stop working,
Right.
So I was so wrapped up in my own world that it didn't dawn on me that Australians were just not dealing with this at all. They were just oh, did you do your Big Brother audition video? And we're over here shutting down. It's just crazy. All right. Well, I guess we're done.
By the way, this kind of talk is making me realize that I have to go back and watch that the season of Amazing Race that you introduced me to, because I know their season was interrupted by COVID and then was restarted. So this conversation has reminded me of that.
And that was an interesting watch too.
Yeah.
Because there's this one team that, I'm telling you, had 9 lives. And this restart gave them another one. It's just ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, but it was an interesting watch. And it was also interesting then to see how because the Amazing Race. Oh yeah, it was. If that what you should go back and watch this. Now, I'm glad you even brought that up. That's cool. That's cool, because you know how the Amazing Race is played, and it's so very physical. You're touching a lot of things. You're meeting people. It's so much about really getting engrossed in the culture of wherever you are, and how much things changed. Everybody had to drive themselves everywhere. Because now you couldn't get in cabs, which I thought I would really miss, because I love when there's that language problem, and I love seeing the stress, and it's they think they know where they're going, and for some reason these taxi cab drivers are not like New York. You get in a New York cab and you just say anywhere, and they just know. I have never been in a taxi cab that was lost. They just know. And it amazes me to watch you in a different country trusting this person that does not speak your language, that also clearly doesn't even know where they're going. That's wild. and how it's horrifying. I think that's so cool to see. Anyway, I thought I would really miss that. You don't. Watching these people try to drive these cars in these countries, especially on some of those roads. Oh boy, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Yeah, but the game changed in a lot of ways, but it's not less interesting. It's a good watch. Definitely go back. We like the Amazing Race. It's just not a fun watch to talk about otherwise, because like there's not really a lot of strategy or anything. It's just how well did you do this? I just think it's a fun, cheesy, lighthearted watch, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Cool, The Amazing Race. Yeah.
But anyway, tomorrow night is the finale of Big Brother Canada.
Tomorrow is a finale. And I can't wait. I would actually like to be live at 10:15. You know?
I'm down. Let's do it.
You know, like, I mean, there's not a lot to prepare. You know,
let's get on at 9:30 and we'll all watch the winner be revealed together live.
No, I don't know that. I don't know that my fake computer can handle that. You know, I don't have a hard drive, so no. All right, I'm on a faux Chromebook, so no, I don't think so. I'm down for 10:15.
Yeah, I'm down.
I just don't think my computer cannot handle both. But thank you. Yeah, we'll see you. All right. Yes, Big Brother Canada finale night tomorrow. We'll be here 10:15 or 10:30. Thank you.
10:15.